You're probably bombarded with marketing every single day for your phone, your shoes, your next vacation. But what about the marketing for the tiny microchips that make your phone work? Or for the giant, complex machinery that weaves the fabric for your shoes? Well, that's a whole other universe. It's the hidden world of business to business or B2B marketing. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. So let's get one thing straight right away. Selling a new laptop to you is absolutely nothing like selling an entire fleet of jumbo jets to an airline. It's a completely different sport with different rules, different players, and way, way higher stakes. And here's the core of it. When you buy a pair of sneakers, that's a B2C or a business-to-consumer sale. It's often fast, it's emotional, you see it, you like it, you buy it. But a B2B sale, like that jet engine, that's a logical, calculated investment that can literally take years to finalize. Because here's the key. You're not spending your own money. You're spending the company. And what that means is B2B marketing isn't really about creating want or desire. It's about proving a solution. Every single purchase has to be justified by one of three things. Will this make us more money? Will this save us money? Or will this reduce our risk? In the end, it all comes down to that return on investment.
Okay, so if the goal is all about solving a business problem with a clear ROI, that leads to maybe the most fascinating part of B2B. Who exactly are you trying to convince?
It's a great question, right? Because the answer is, well, it's complicated. You're not just selling to a single person, like the CEO. Nope. You're selling to this kind of invisible committee, this whole web of people who all have a say.
And on average, to get one single yes on a major purchase, you have to convince 6 different people. That's right, 6 different stakeholders with 6 different jobs and 6 different agendas, all have to sign off.
This group has a name, the Decision Making Unit, or DMU. And it's like a cast of characters in a play. You've got the initiator, the person who first raises their hand and says, hey, we have a problem. You have the actual users, the folks who will be hands-on with your product every day. You've got the influencer, maybe an IT expert who gives technical advice, the gatekeeper who controls access to the team, the buyer who's in charge of the budget, and finally, the decider, the person who gives that ultimate green.
And this is where it gets really tricky. You can't just have one pitch. Why? Because the person who's going to use the software every day just wants it to be easy. The person in finance, the buyer, only cares if it's cheap. And the decider, the executive at the top, they only care if it's going to be profitable. You're trying to speak 3 different languages at the same time.
So how in the world do you convince 6 different people who all want different things? Well, the answer is you don't do it overnight. You have to guide them on a long, carefully mapped out journey.
This journey is often visualized as a funnel. It all starts at the top with awareness, making them realize the even of a problem worth solving. Then you move to consideration, where you patiently prove that you're the expert who can help. Only after that do you get to the decision stage. And it doesn't even end there. After the sale, it's all about retention and keeping them as a happy partner.
Now, during that crucial consideration phase, you can't just run a cool ad on Instagram. You have to bring the receipts. You have to offer serious proof. And that often comes in the form of things like white papers. These are deep, technical reports packed with data that show you really know your stuff. And then you follow that up with case studies. These are basically success stories. They tell a detailed story of how you helped another company, just like them, save $1 million or boost their productivity by 30%. It's not just talk, it's concrete, real-world evidence.
But here's the thing. Even with all this logic, all this data, all these reports, at the end of the day, these are still decisions made by humans. And that means we have to talk about the core emotion that's really driving the whole process. And it is probably not what you think. See, a consumer often buys from a place of desire. I want that new phone. But a business buyer, they are often motivated by one thing: fear. Think about it. They're not just spending a few bucks of their own money. They're betting their professional reputation and maybe even their job on making the right call. The thought process isn't, I want this. It's, if this goes wrong, I could get fired. So the entire game for a B2B marketer becomes about reducing that fear. It's about building this overwhelming mountain of trust. You do it with rock-solid guarantees, long free trials so they can see it for themselves, glowing testimonials from famous companies they already trust, and of course, those super detailed case studies showing a proven return on investment.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the who, and the why. Now for the fun part. Let's get into the how.
What are the cutting-edge strategies the smartest B2B companies are using to win today?
One of the absolute biggest game changers is something called account-based marketing, or ABM. The old way was like fishing with a giant net. You just cast it wide and hope to catch anything. ABM is the complete opposite. It's like fishing with a spear. You pick one perfect dream customer, say Google, and then you design an entire marketing campaign built just for them.
Another huge one is inbound marketing. And the idea is really simple and powerful. Stop interrupting people. No more cold calls, no more annoying ads. Instead, create the most helpful, most valuable content on the internet. Write the best guides, make the best videos. That way, when a customer has a problem, they find you and come to you as the trusted expert. But this brings up a modern challenge, something people call dark social. Marketers are finally realizing that the most important conversations aren't happening where they can see them. They're happening in private Slack channels or in WhatsApp groups where one engineer asks another, "Hey, what do you guys use for that? Does it suck?" Those peer-to-peer conversations, totally invisible to marketers, are often what really makes or breaks a massive deal. So, between these secret committees, year-long journeys, and hidden conversations, it's pretty clear B2B is a wild, evolving space. Let's wrap things up by taking a quick look at where this is all going. This chart really puts everything we've talked about side by side. Look at the motivation, logic and ROI for B2B versus emotion for B2C. Or the sales cycle, we're talking months, even years, compared to maybe a few days. And the relationship. B2B is all about building a long-term partnership, while B2C can just be a one-time transaction. It just drives home that these are two totally different worlds. And believe me, this world is not standing still. Right now, AI is getting so good it can write thousands of deeply personal emails automatically. Buyers are now starting to demand the ability to buy incredibly expensive software online without ever talking to a human. And more, things like a company's sustainability practices are becoming a make or break requirement to even get in the door for a big contract. And all of this leads to one final, really provocative question. As artificial intelligence gets smarter and as buyers can do more and more of their own research and even buy things on their own, what's left for the human salesperson? Is their role shrinking into obscurity, or is it just evolving into something new entirely? That's the big question the whole industry is trying to answer right now.